The argument I selected for the core assessment video assignment is Thomas Aquinas' third argument for the existence of God, the argument of contingency from Unit 3. This argument addresses the idea that all beings in the universe are contingent, meaning it is possible but cannot be predicted with certainty that they must exist. The complete structure of the argument consists of 8 points and a final conclusion. Many of the points are based off one another, therefore should any be proven to be false, the entire argument would become invalid. To begin, premise 1 is that contingent things now exist. This is an indisputable fact, as there are numerous things in the universe which are known to be contingent, including humans. Premise 2, each contingent thing has a time at which it fails to exist. This is also known to be true, since contingent things cannot also be eternal. There have been arguments against this belief, revolving around the idea that atoms are eternal and therefore not everything is contingent. However, modern physics have denied this argument through the discovery of energy conservation. Since these two premises are true, it allows for us to look at premise 3. So if everything were contingent, there would be at a time at which nothing exists. I believe this premise to be false as a result of the birthday fallacy. It is known there must be a time at which everything does not exist. However, that does not mean that time must take place at the same moment for everything in existence. It is possible that there always remains something in existence throughout history. Now, supposing that there is in fact a moment at which nothing existed, we may move on to premise 4, believing that empty time would have been in the past. I also disagree with this statement. Even if there must be a time at which nothing exists, there is no reason this time could not be in the future instead of the past. Because of this assumption, we now run into the problem of premise 5, saying that if the world were empty at one time, it would be empty forever after. This is of course true, since it is known that something cannot be created out of nothing. Premises 6 and 7 clarify this. Premise 6, so if everything were contingent, nothing would exist now. And premise 7, but clearly the world is now not empty. We all know this to be true, so now we are faced with the issue that the claim, everything is contingent, must be wrong. The final premise 8, there exists a being who is not contingent. As previously stated, this must be the case if we are to believe the past premises to be true. This leads us into the conclusion, hence God exists. The biggest problem with this argument that many people bring up is that it is contradictory. If there exists a being who owes its existence only to itself and nothing else, meaning a being that is not contingent, then not everything in all existence is contingent, and therefore something could potentially be eternal, causing Aquinas' argument to be invalid. In order to disprove this objection and create better clarity, it is often restated that no being owes its existence to itself except God. This means that God is the only being that is not contingent. This may seem to be making an exception in order for the conclusion to be true. However, if we go back to earlier in the argument, it will show that should everything be contingent, there would be nothing in existence, and as a result, there must be something that owes its existence to itself. This is defined as God. Finally, if we are to believe the premises, then Aquinas' argument is valid because it is a reductio argument. This means that it follows a certain pattern in order to prove its point. Here is the argument Aquinas is making in this pattern. Premise 1, if only contingent beings exist, then the world would now be empty. Premise 2, the world is not empty. Conclusion, therefore not all beings are contingent. There must be at least one necessary being. This supports the belief that there must be a God. Ultimately, the majority of the premises I believe to be true and follow clear reasoning. However, premises 3 and 4 are subject to the birthday fallacy and therefore do not support the argument, leading to many discrepancies. If it is possible for this objection to be disproved, then there would be sufficient support to say that God must exist. However, at this time, it is impossible to say whether or not God exists for certain.